Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Super Tarot Love Week. Hello, with Oberon's outlook on the emotional exchanges. This is a part of our special Super Tarot Love Week presentations where we are bringing you little bits of extra content for the Valentine's Day holiday. So I'm here today to give our usual outlook for the emotional exchanges, which is a weekly forecast for the ups and downs, things about relationships or people in your lives, the emotions you're going through, the currents and changes for the next week ahead. And that week starts tomorrow, February 7th, and goes through Thursday, the 13th. You will be seeing this on Friday, the 7th, but I'm recording it the night before, right after our live stream, as a matter of fact. So welcome to everybody. We're going to get started right now, and we're going to start with our air signs. Air signs. Those are signs like Gemini and Libra and Aquarius. So we're going to be talking about what's going on for them. But first, we're going to give them their word for the week. And their word for the week is advice. And so the thing is I want you air signs to think about advice you give and the advice you should listen to. Sometimes we like to give advice, but sometimes we also need to remember to listen to the advice that we are given. So think about that in this week ahead. And now I'm going to shuffle the cards, and soon we'll have that reading for air signs. On Sunday's live stream, we will be doing a love spell for everybody, and we ask everybody to join with us if they wish. All you need is to have a red candle and a lighter or some matches. And it'll only take us a few minutes, and the love attraction spell, let's see if it can work for you. All right, so I am now cutting the deck, and this is what we have for our air signs. We have a reversed Eight of Wands, a reversed Princess of Wands, and then the upright Five of Swords. So what does that mean? I'm going to tell you. The reversed Eight of Wands seems to indicate that a lot of energy will be expended, possibly needless energy that will make you feel depleted and wasted, feeling like, why did you do that? It's probably about something to do with this Princess of Wands. I'm thinking there's a message we receive in this week. Maybe it's about our relationships, and we're in a hurry to find out what that's about. We're in a hurry to go and resolve it. But remember the advice word, that maybe that letter is bringing, that message, that thing is bringing us advice, and we should listen to it rather than think of it as just outrightly wrong. But I have a feeling that some of us air signs are going to be confused and feel that that message is bad news. We just need to calm down and think about that. And finally, we have the upright Five of Swords to close us out. And that does seem to indicate that what this has been about is some stressful situations that are possibly challenging one or more of our emotional relationships. And the more we try to apply some force to affect the outcome, the more likely we're going to have the fail. So it will be very tempting to use our energy, that Eight of Wands, but it will be obviously fruitless. So my advice is to just kind of chill this week. This reading ends before Valentine's Day, so maybe Valentine's Day, the next forecast will be a little bit more desirable. But I'm thinking mostly there's some strife here, and there's some bad fire energy in your air signs' lives. So hopefully that will only be for this week. We're going to move on now to our next sign, and that would be the fire signs. Fire signs are signs like Aries, and Leo and Sagittarius. I have too many shadows on that camera there. And we have a word of the week for you fire signs too, and that is attraction. I love this deck, by the way. It's an Egyptian themed tarot, but the cards are all numbered rather than divided by suits. Anyways, attraction. So fire signs, you are magnetic and transformative. Attraction is actually something that comes easily to you. If you're a child of the 60s like me, you might remember the Jimi Hendrix song, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire. And maybe that's what this means, is that you will be more attractive, fire signs, in this week ahead. Or you will be more attracted to other signs or other people in general. So use that as your power. Try to be a good person and attract good things to yourself, good things to your relationships. Try to be attractive to other good people in their relationships. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle our cards now. Come up with our reading. Oh, I dropped one. What does that mean? Oh, I dropped the reverse Ace of Discs, Ace of Pentacles. And that may be indicating that if there was some project going on, something to do with prosperity and monies, there may be a delay there. I'm not sure how that fits into your emotional life. Maybe it's tied to a person you have an emotional relationship with, and you may have to help them suffer through the situation as it is. So let's see what cards we actually do draw for fire signs. Get them through their week. Some other content we're having during Super Tarot Love Week is we'll be doing another spell a week from today, next Friday, the Valentine's Day itself. We're also doing more poetry. We do hope you will tune in. Spread the word. Super Tarot Love Week. Okay, what do we have for them? How interesting. In our last reading, we had the Eight of Wands reversed, but in this one, it's upright. So it has a more beneficent meaning. We also have this one upright. Ooh, the Lovers. That's a good sign for fire signs, or any sign, I suppose. And then we have the reversed Nine of Discs, which maybe has a slightly different meaning than normal. So what does this mean? Well, Eight of Wands upright seems to indicate that we are moving along speedily. We are moving clearly towards our direction. We're bringing with us all due strength and haste. And what are we moving towards? Perhaps we're moving towards a decision about love, about relationships. Perhaps we have more than one relationship and we're not really sure where we're going. We're in the early stages of relationships and we're just trying to decide. This question is coming to you. If it isn't really about a relationship, it may be about a serious question that relates to things that are uplifting and then other things that are pleasurable or good for you, but not necessarily uplifting. If you get my meaning, it's kind of a choice between vice and virtue, but that's always the way it is with the Lover's card. It's like, take the easy road, but it may be the wrong road in the long run. Your final card is the reversed Nine of Discs. It should be reversed this way, I guess. And what I'm seeing with that one, after all of this is over, maybe the question is that you're going to feel like you didn't really make that right decision and that somehow you are now left wanting. You are left sort of out of your comfort zone. You may feel that you have some material comforts, but you don't have emotional comforts. And this could be because our decision was impacted somehow. I'm not really sure what its cause is here, because it seemed to me like the signs led towards you leading towards the right choice. So you just really need to analyze and think about that. Use your word of the week, attraction. Try to meditate on what you are attracted to and whether or not that is in your best interest. But I do feel like it's not a harmful way to end. It's just that maybe you're not really feeling like you feel comfortable with it and you want more. So maybe next week will be better for you. So that's what we have for the fire signs. And we're going to now move on to our water signs. Water signs. These are signs like Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. They tend to be more emotional just in and of themselves. The water reflects the idea of being emotional. So emotionality comes more easier to them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in control of it. I know that as a Scorpio. I sometimes have a hard time controlling my emotions. They have a word of the week too, and this is a lovely word. The word is magnificence. So go forth, you water signs, and be magnificent. Remember that this is your element, and as we move closer towards Valentine's Day, the day of all things loving, you are in your element. You know, for emotional water signs, Valentine's Day should be literally a blessing. So I want you to feel that, water signs. I want you to feel the pureness of your heart and the pureness of others' hearts. Take that word with you. Shine magnificently for everyone. So now we're going to get to our reading. We're going to shuffle these cards. See what's going. If you watched last week of the emotional outlook, you noticed that it looked like a bad lip syncing job. It was. Something happened with the microphone. It was my first taste of the pre-Mercury retrograde. Somehow the microphone failed. So I had to review all the cards a couple times and then just voice over the recording. So that's what I ended up doing for last week. We're really hoping this one works. I don't want to keep doing that. Okay, water signs. What's going on? Let's take a look. So we have your 3 cards. We have the reversed 6 of Wands, the upright sun. That kind of goes with magnificence. And then we have the reversed Hierophant. So what do these cards mean for you? Well, the 6 of Wands seems to tell me that there's great victories in this week ahead. There are things that you feel will bring you accomplishment. You will feel like you have attained a victory, that you're the hero somehow. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. You also have an upright sun, which is a good card. Or no, that's the reversed one, isn't it? I'm sorry. This one's upright. This one's reversed. This one's reversed. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So the sun reverse seems to indicate that maybe it's going along with this card here, the 6 of Wands, that you're not finding out the things you need to find out, that somehow some part of your path has become more challenging or clouded even, and that if this is about finding your way through an emotional situation, maybe it's about tending to find victory within a pursuit, because that is a little bit of what that card is about. It may not be meant to be, and I'm thinking that the reason really is in the Hierophant, because what you are setting your goals for, your eyes on, maybe not as attainable as you think. In fact, may not even be necessarily the right choice for you. That although you may find yourself to be somewhere in the spectrum of conventional to unconventional, this situation is literally the opposite of you. Whether you're conventional and they're unconventional or vice versa, you're setting your sights for something that is not necessarily attainable. And although there's a sense of victory there, to me it really is doubtful, because it may be that you will find out more about yourself than you actually do that other person. And so you may just be left with the idea that what you attained was more mastery over yourself, but you did that trying to affect mastery over a situation. It's still kind of crazy. Anyways, that's what I have for the water signs. So I hope that means something to you, and I hope you can work that out. We're going to finally conclude by moving on to our earth signs. Remember, this is a reading for February 7th through February 13th. So our earth signs are signs like Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn. Earth signs tend to be foundational signs that are sort of rock steady, all that metaphor stuff going on there. So they may not always find themselves drawn to emotionalness. They tend to weather emotional situations with a little bit more of a, stiff upper lip kind of thing. Their word of the week is the chariot. And that means drive. And so earth signs will really find themselves driving towards their goals. They will be finding the wells of motivation, positive movement within themselves, and they're going to be trying really hard to get that going. So that's what I think is happening there, is they are moving towards their relationships with positive pursuit in mind. That's what I'll call it. So let's shuffle the cards and see what else they can tell us for earth signs. Somewhere in these weeks, we'll be reading two very special love poems. In this week, I should say. One, they both were written for friends who we were involved in their marriages. One was a couple we actually did marry because we're legal priests too, amongst other things. And the other one was really good friends. Some, especially to me, the groom was an incredibly good friend. I'm still friends with them today. It's ironic. Both couples are no longer in existence as a couple. But, that's life, right? Anyway, here we go. Our earth signs reading. The reversed moon. The upright two of discs. And the reversed Princess of Wands. What do these cards mean? Well, the moon reversed sort of indicates some deceptive things coming to light, some sense of piercing through a mystery. A lot of times the moon does relate to emotional matters, strongly even. So it could be about relationships. Maybe earth signs are going to find out that there's been some deceptive quality going on in relationships. It might be the primary relationship. It doesn't have to be. The two of discs, which is upright, seems to indicate to me that whatever that situation is, you are more or less in control. You have that expectation of needing to balance what these forces are. And I would just like to draw your line that although the two of pentacles, like most twos, are balance cards, the moon itself has a great deal of balance indicated in it because it has those two towers or obelisks there and the two Anubi dogs there. So this too is about a sense of balance. And so that's what earth signs are looking for, to find that balance between the right actions in their lives and maybe the deceptive actions that they're starting to understand about people in their lives. I'm not sure exactly how it resolves, but it seems to me like the reverse princess does give us a clue, and it may be that we may find a relationship leaving our lives. I'm not thinking it's a primary relationship, but I am thinking it is a little bit important. This could be something like maybe even a child moving away, moving from the home. I feel it's something like that, that maybe somebody is still connected to you, but they have decided to maybe create more distance between them. This could be somebody like a son or a daughter or somebody that lived in the house. It maybe is tied up with these other things because I think what it does is it brings a little bit of sense of sadness. The emotional current of sadness for you guys next week with these cards is what it seems to tell me, that perhaps this person wasn't really being totally honest about how they felt about the living arrangement, and now you're going to understand they weren't really upfront with their feelings. It's not really a deception necessarily. Maybe they just didn't really know how to express themselves, because The Princess of Wands is also a messenger, and sometimes when the message card is reversed, there's just problems articulating that message. So that's what I have for you, Earth signs, and I'm thinking that this is just for this week, and that next week has obviously got to be better. We hope you enjoyed that. Please tune in for more live streams or features from our Super Tarot Love Week. And remember also, TFT, Tarot for Today. Bye-bye now.